one that I really get up for. It's a sports episode. How we doing? It's been 2 weeks since I last did a sports show. Obviously, took my summer vacay, but we're back. And of course, we're coming back with a banger. LeBron James signs with the Philadelphia 76ers. Who would have thunk it? I don't know. I didn't see it coming. I thought Cleveland was the sure destination for him, but clearly not. I was wrong. A lot of people were saying Miami. We heard the leaks. And he ends up in Philly, of all places. And as a Knicks fan, that's gotta make you want to vomit a little bit. But, especially with this roster on paper. But I don't know. Listen to this episode, and me and Gino, my good friend, a returning guest of the show, we're going to give you a reason why to not jump off the ledge, and why you should relax and enjoy this, and it should be fine. And also, don't think for a second that Philly was the preferred destination. We've heard rumors that LeBron James can't reach out to the Knicks, and I'm sure other teams too, like Miami, like Cleveland. You know, so who knows if you really want to end up Philly? It's a big question mark. I don't know why. We're going to talk about all of that and what this means for the Philadelphia 76er franchise going forward. We're going to talk a little baseball, and I got some updates about my fundraiser coming up at the end of August. Please stay tuned for that. Again, big promotions will be going out about that on all the socials this week. Can't wait, but I do have another announcement as opposed to the announcement that I made yesterday. So some updates there. We'll talk all about it. Thank you for joining me on this Friday night with Epis, live on Twitch and YouTube. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's get it going. I'm about to hit this intro. Everybody, it's good seeing with you, it's good hanging with you, and if you're watching in post, please, again, keep showing up. All right, the Mets lose. What else is new? Toronto tied it up against Boston. A lot going on. All right, everybody, let's get started.
Wake up! Is every number where it was? Has this dream stopped?
Here we go.
Epis Radio. Epis Radio.
Matty B.
Epis Radio. Epis Radio.
Hitting you from NYC.
Epis Radio. Epis Radio.
Yeah, we're back. LeBron James.
Matty B.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matty B, Epis Radio Entertainment. Thank you for joining me on this Friday night with Epis, episode 83 of the Epis Sports Podcast. What a time to be alive. LeBron James, who would have thunk it? Going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I found out during work today. A good coworker friend of mine, gave me the alert and said, Matt, you're not going to believe it. Here it is. And Philly, of all places. And as a Knicks fan, I'm sorry, it's got to make you vomit just a little bit. But don't jump off the ledge just yet, everybody, because I'll give you a reason to believe that it really shouldn't be your concern. I don't see this working out in Philly. There's too much egos involved in this room. I actually like the direction Philly was going in, acquiring Jaylen Brown. How could you not? But when you get a very old, over-the-hill, apparently in his last year of retirement, which now I'm starting to question that that's even true, by the way. But now, LeBron James coming over here. You've seen his impact on a franchise. You've seen it with the Lakers and what it can do, and rather in a negative way. I have that feeling that maybe he's got something else up his sleeve with Philly, and that's why he ended up there. I don't think it's going to lead to a championship. I don't, whether it means the Knicks are going to find a way to take him off or it's somebody else. I don't know. But it's just messy. I don't like it. You know, why couldn't you just do one of the more obvious moves, like either going back home to Cleveland or going to a place where you thrived for years, right? And you were the king in Miami. Sure, why not? That makes sense. On paper, the Philadelphia 76ers look like a threat. But not for nothing, when I look at the Knicks and you match up their their starting five against the Philadelphia 76ers starting five, to me, doesn't really scare me too much. Obviously, you got an injury-prone Embiid. You got an over-the-hill LeBron, who, you know, during the regular season at the very least, is just not going to be available. You know, like an Embiid. You know, who knows what this team's going to look like? Who knows how it's going to gel, especially in the absence of two of their superstars most of the time. You know, and then what it's going to look like come the playoffs. I don't know. It doesn't make me feel good. And, you know, is this a move for LeBron to maybe one day have a stake in the Philadelphia 76ers franchise? Why? I don't necessarily know, but that's a theory I'm hearing being floating around. There's a lot to talk about it. We're going to get into it tonight. That's enough for my opening monologue. I can't forget my man Pots and Pans, who's hanging out with us. You didn't know because I just had to come out hot like that. But Gino, what's going on, bro? My man, you know him, everybody, a returning guest of the show. You know him as Black Dutch 78 on Instagram. We got a little news for Gino tonight. We'll reveal that shortly. But what's going on, bro? How do you feel, all right, about LeBron James going to the 76ers? Obviously, being a Knicks fan yourself.
Not to sound arrogant, but I'm not really worried about it. And I'm not used to being in this position to sound like this, but I'm not worried about it. How, 42-year-old guy who played 60 games, shot 73% from the free throw line. Like, I'm not saying that he's not an addition to your team, but I think he changes how your team plays. It makes me wonder, is he going to take the ball out of Maxi's hands?
Oh, for sure.
And that doesn't help.
It's going to take the ball out of Edgecomb's hands and Maxi's hands. Yeah, I mean, how are you going to manage? Jaylen Brown's got to get touches, right?
Yeah.
And B's got it's this. There's a lot of problems with this, and then when you look at Philadelphia's depth, that's also an issue. And the Knicks don't have that problem. You know, and they added Drummond. They can tweak it a little bit if they need to. I like the Drummond move for them. It made sense. It was the obvious move. It was really the only thing they had left going for them. You know, but especially after Robinson leaving. But the Knicks have the depth, and they have the championship pedigree. You know, listen, LeBron couldn't win with Luka and Reeves. What makes you think this is going to work? You know?
Yeah, I just, just like my Mets, like it's cool to win in the off season. But
I don't know if the Mets won in the off season.
Well, according to some people, they thought they made some good moves.
I did. Maybe I am those people. I thought they made some good moves. Yeah.
But then you got to perform in the regular season. So first of all, it makes me think of cohesion. It also makes me think of how many games are him and Embiid going to play. I don't know what they'll be able to, fill out when it comes to the bench. And then, to be honest with you, like some people will look at his numbers and be impressed by it. I'm going to be honest with you, like I don't know what this age LeBron brings to the team, and I don't know if Philly or the rest of the people on the team are ready to deal with the whole Jaylen Brown controversy, and then also the attention that LeBron brings on a daily basis. So I don't know, man. It's just we're gonna see. like I said, a championship is not going to be won now. I just think there's going to be a lot of hurdles. I don't know what it looks like for LeBron to. I guess what is he, the power forward on that team?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Is he going to be power forward or small forward? I guess maybe interchangeable at times, but or essentially, playing the point if Maxi's off the floor,
And then I guess
yeah.
who would you say is the number one option?
Mm. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I think Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
For
wouldn't
me,
dump the
it's
ball in
Jaylen Brown. Like, as a shooter, like if I need a shot, yeah, it's Jaylen Brown
Just,
for this
I'm
team.
just talking about you come down half court, you need a bucket. Who gets the ball on that team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In a weird, it's a tough one. It really is, actually.
Maybe you dump the ball into Embiid if he's playing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, if he's having a hot night, for sure. I feel like it's either Brown or Embiid to me for some reason. Like, it's not even LeBron, but LeBron almost comes third to that. I know that's kind of crazy to say, and it's
You
not
think he
really.
comes third? So you think he comes above Maxey?
No, yeah.
Okay.
And as much as I
don't know
love
why you
Maxey,
think
no, and
Maxey,
I love Maxey, I really do. There was a time before the Knicks won a championship where I was starting to believe that Maxey was better than Brunson. I'm wrong about that. Yeah, or at least had the potential. But I do think Maxey has a potential to have a phenomenal career. I think he's a great player, especially, and he's better defensively than Brunson. But yeah, I have to give LeBron at least that. I can't put him that far back. I can't put Maxey above him in a game-winning situation or anything like that. Crunch time, bucket. As good as Maxey is, LeBron has the history and the know-how and the IQ and everything.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. For all the marbles, it's the last shot, and either Maxey or LeBron has to hit it to win the game. Do you feel more comfortable with the ball being in LeBron's hands than Maxey's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because he's done it before, more than Maxey has, So I mean, I don't think situations like that pressure him as much as a Maxey would. I think Maxey still might be, nervous to the moment. Not to say that he's not capable. But LeBron, I think he's just, he's not going to wilt in that moment. It's just whether or not he's going to make the shot. But I'll take the chance with him. I know his percentages have gone down. I think, you shoot nearly under 50% last year. So he's not like, consistently, good shooter. I mean, he's going to be low 40s, probably. So. But it's still, I'll take it. I mean, it's LeBron. LeBron's great, man. Despite the movement in his career, and again, this move to Philadelphia is just such a question mark to me. It doesn't make any sense. What ties does he have to Philly? I don't. He grew up in Akron, Ohio. Why Philly? I guess geographically it's not too far. But why them? Why now? What? Because Brown went there and. They're trying to, find a way. Like, you really don't think you could have had a chance in Miami with Giannis? Or, Cleveland with Mitch and Harden, and then made something happen there? I mean, to me, that was just a better move. It almost feels like he's setting up to do something where, he might have some ownership stake, like a Tom Brady, with Oakland, or where, he just, maybe he's planning out his future outside of just, being a basketball player. And now I'm starting to question whether or not he's even going to retire this year. What they give him, $8 million with for 2 years, right? And a player option.
Yeah.
And why are you giving him that? You already said this is it. This is the last year's farewell tour. It doesn't feel to me like it's a farewell tour. And then the whole thing with Adam Silver, with him, he's holding out his decision because Silver's pissed. He wants to make the schedule and he wants to surround it around LeBron. He's letting his ego getting away with that. Just make your decision. You know where you're going. Come on, stop this nonsense. And he does it on a Friday to dump it. And Silver still has plenty of time to make the schedule. He'll be out by Monday. It's gonna be Philadelphia and New York opening night. Book it right now at the Garden. Yeah,
Well, I mean, him going to Philly, I know he's always attracted to like a stacked team, and
yeah.
he probably feels like that gives him the best chance to win. I don't know he as amazing as a basketball mind he is. Like I don't know if he always understands like the fit of a team, which is why back in the day, he was the only one that thought it was a good idea for him to play with Russ.
Hmm.
I just I just I just get weary of when you have him on your team. Are you willing to take the ball out of your point guard's hands? That's
Right.
why he wasn't. That's why he didn't work with Luca. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like that's what it basically comes down to. Like, are you comfortable taking the ball out of his hands?
Well,
Now,
right, and
don't get
that's
me
what I
wrong.
worry about with this team. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great passer, but he needs to dominate the ball to be effective. And it's like I don't know if you bring LeBron in to be a sideshow.
Hmm.
So I don't know, man. We're gonna see how it plays out. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know how this. I don't know how this. I don't know how this looks. I don't know if they play well together. I know they got to get used to playing together. I know they got to get used to be able to, where each other likes the ball and everything. Like it's just, there's a lot that's got to play out, and hopefully they got the whole season to make it work.
This would answer. I have a little graphic up for right now, and this would answer the lineup. I mean, you're definitely gonna have Tyrese Maxey point. Edgecombe, VJ Edgecombe at the shooting guard, Brown small forward, and LeBron power, and Joel Embiid at 5. So that's gonna be the lineup. I mean, listen, that is one hell of a lineup, no doubt about it. All healthy, all ready to go. That is gonna give you problems. No ifs,
Okay.
ands, buts about it. But again, you got two guys on a 4 and a 5 that they're not quite playing up to their standard. Now Embiid, when healthy, and when he puts the effort in, he can be a defensive stalwart up there. You got to worry about him. LeBron, he's kind of you kind of seen him. Let it go. It's very rare that he'll show you the old glimpses of the past where he's going to make that extra effort. Brown, Edgecombe, Maxey, defensively stout. But the rest of this team is a question mark. And that's where I think they're having the problems. You're basically relying on your very young core of 3. And I'm not talking about James or Embiid. A lot of this team is going to come through Maxey, Edgecombe, and Brown. Does Edgecombe even have the year that you expect him to have? You're banking on a lot from a young kid right there. Maxey, a lot of expectation for him. Brown, this might be his time to shine again. Or, will it wilt, amongst the egos in this locker room? I don't know. You're asking for a lot, it's shaking up a franchise big time. And you know how LeBron rolls, man. Whatever he says goes. So, I don't know what that's going to look for this coaching staff, for this organization. Is LeBron out there making the calls, or is there going to be some unity? I really would like to know. I don't think all Philadelphia fans are in favor of this move.
I know that LeBron played 60 games last year, and Embiid played 38.
Right.
So,
And what LeBron brings is a lot, man. Like
it
he
is.
he demands a lot of attention. He demands a lot, just a lot of control a lot of the times. I don't know. I just, we don't know. We're just sitting behind the screen speculating. But,
The
there's
craziest
been
thing is,
signs. Yeah.
the craziest thing is his team likes to control the narrative. I don't know if that happens in Philly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if
And
that
the
happens.
Philadelphia media and their fans, they won't
Yeah.
let it.
They-
They're
they're the players.
very much like New York fans. All right, they will expose you real quick, and they'll get on them. They'll get on them, man. If they're not performing well, believe me, it's gonna hear it. I hope it's not like like an MJ, with the Wizards. So, like just like type situation, like this is the end of the career, this is the end of the roads, type thing. It's a bad look. That's why I really felt like go to Miami, man. Or I wanted to see him go to Cleveland, to be
I
honest.
heard you.
Yeah, yeah,
I heard you say that earlier, right?
yeah.
So here's a question I have for you.
Okay,
If he goes to Miami, right?
or Cleveland.
Who, on, if he went to Miami, who in that starting lineup was going to hit a jump shot?
No, he was probably way better off going to Philly. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I think between Miami and Philly, like it was. I think it's the right choice, Philly. If you're looking at a
And
basketball
and on top of
standpoint,
that, I'm
yeah,
not going
yeah.
to Cleveland. I'm not going to Cleveland to play with Harden because that you see how he got cooked last year.
I know, I know. It's not that would have ended up
I'm
in the
not wasting that.
championship. You're right. You're
He's a
absolutely
regular
right.
season player.
I just, I
And then
clearly he's ring chasing. That's what I mean by that. It's like,
there's nothing
like
wrong with that at 42.
I guess, I just for me the better story was Cleveland is good enough that like a late LeBron James can maybe elevate them to a potential finals run. That's not saying that would have happened, but they're good enough, and I just think it would have been special to see, even if they did end up losing. But if they say that like Cleveland got to an Eastern Conference Finals and they go like 6-7 games and it was kind of like back and forth, close, and that's it. LeBron sends off like that. Even that to me is a better story than this, as opposed to what Philly flaming out in 6 against the Knicks because of their issues and organizational woes. Like I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me because it's like you're just ring chasing yet again, and then here's another blemish on the whole legacy of a career that you should be highly touted for, but oftentimes criticized for. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about all the destinations that you brought up. Like everything to me, if something stands out that I'm like, I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was ready for him to retire.
This year, like this was like
Yeah,
last
I'm
year. That
ready
was
for him
it.
to
Yeah,
retire.
yeah.
I think about Golden State with that was an option too, where it was just gonna be a bunch of old men.
Right,
um,
right. And he
basketball,
knew
at least
that wasn't
basketball.
it.
I think about Cleveland not being attractive because who like is 3 guys that need the ball in their hand between
Hmm.
Harden, uh, between Harden and LeBron. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and Donovan Mitchell. That's 3 guys that need the ball in their hand. Then I think about Miami. Nobody in the starting lineup would have been able to hit a jump shot
Hmm.
except for Bam, and he doesn't even do that all the time. And then I think about Philly, and I'm like, the fit doesn't make sense. So, like to me, I thought you have the scoring record by a good amount. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's that important for you to win a championship, but I thought it was time to pack it up and go home.
Yeah, and I mean, making this move is even more questionable. And then the contract, it's like, why not just sign the 1 year if you truly know that you're done? Well, why are we signing a 2 year, with the player option? I mean,
Maybe he's thinking his son will make it to the league, his other son will make it to the league by then. I
and
don't
he's
know.
not going to, so he's leading us all on, and he's not going to retire. You're saying, like,
Yeah, I mean, you
here
never
we
know
go
with that
again.
guy.
Well, that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
you never
That's
know
why
with that
I'm
guy.
starting to believe that. I'm like, I don't think this is it now. Like, I think he's lying. Actually,
Yeah. I'm
like
gonna be
this.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Coming off the Olympics, and everybody, a lot of times I say this to people, they don't like me saying it, but
Yeah.
I was just ready for LeBron, Curry, and KD to just kind of go off into the sunset.
Hmm.
And
Together.
for us to,
Could you
for us
imagine
to
all
talk about the
retiring in 1 year? Yeah.
yeah, like for us to still be talking about them like they haven't been playing for the play in most of these last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal to me. Like I remember they were talking about KD like he was a missing link to Houston being relevant, and I was just like, if he's got to be the best player on your team at this age, you're in trouble.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I feel for all of them. People, because they've been stars for so long, people don't want to hear that. But I'm just like, it's time for those guys to kind of the torch has been passed. You're not at the top of the league anymore, either any one of you guys. So like just like go ahead, go off into the sunset. You've done your time, you've earned your money, you've done everything. Like it's time to go.
Yeah.
So
I kind of
22,
agree with
bro.
you. I mean, you know, Curry's got to be next, right? You know, how much more is Curry going to
go
give?
too.
Yeah, he's just been, you know, like it's been his storyline's been little bit more quiet. You know, he's always been the shadow of LeBron. You know, outside of those big, you know, winning years and all that. You know, like he's just been a little shadow. Like it's kind of been quiet on his end, and you know the speculation that you see Draymond moving on.
I just feel like in Golden State with those older guys there, it's harder, especially with Draymond.
Hmm,
Great basketball mind, but like those players are not going to develop with Draymond there. I
yeah.
don't know what it is. Like I just think they made some great draft picks, and that for some reason in that organization, those people don't flourish. Like there's
Hmm,
no reason why Jonathan Kuminga is not on that team. Like I don't know, man. It's just weird, bro.
yeah.
I think it's time for Kerr to go. I think it's time for I think it's time for Jimmy Butler to go. Like it's the run is over.
No,
You know what
no
I mean?
doubt about that. I think it's been over. I think they've had a hard time accepting that fact, and then maybe this was kind of their last bit of hope. Like, oh, is LeBron, you know? But we all knew it wasn't going to be Golden State. Like, there's no way LeBron was going over there and saving the day one last time. That would have been even worse, honestly, for him to go to
I got a
Golden
question
State.
for you.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. When Mike was on the Washington Wizards,
Mm.
back in the day, were you ever like, oh man, they got a chance?
No,
So why are we acting like a 42-year-old LeBron is just like it's so epic
but
like that?
I would argue that you know, this team was better than that team. I mean, you know, forgive me for remembering, but my recollection of it is not that they were real, you know, potential contenders. I don't, you know, at that
So let me
time,
ask you a
you know,
question.
yeah,
Whoever was the center on their team, right? On that team that we don't know. Who cares, right?
right.
But um, do you think they go to the same level as Philly with your big guy playing 38 games out of 82?
Yeah, it was a different game, that's for sure, right? But
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know, man.
Like I remember Embiid. Like let's not forget Embiid looked amazing in the playoffs, but those days that he looked great took such a toll on him that he couldn't play in big games during the playoffs.
I don't know, bro. I think listen, I pull up the 2001, 2002 Washington Wizards roster right now. You think Kwame Brown is giving Philly problems? You know, Christian Leitner, yeah, Tyronn Lue over there. You know,
You know what's the best? You know what's the best? You know what's the best ability?
yeah,
Availability.
availability. I know, you know. Even a Richard Hamilton, all right, Courtney Alexander, maybe, man. I don't know. I mean, not for nothing. Jordan was still getting it done, but not as much as LeBron. Now, LeBron still continues to outperform Jordan in the later years of his career. You know, at least showing you that. But it's a different game. We understand that a little bit. I don't listen. I don't. Something just tells me that it's gonna go wrong. You know, if you really couldn't do it over there in LA, you know, and I mean, you did win the one championship, right? It's the everybody, you know, poo poos the championship, the COVID year, you know, it's all that. I don't know. I don't really look at that championship like that, but because I think it's hard enough to win in an environment set as that. You know, I think you still got to be, you know, talented and a good team. But certainly circumstances were different. Um, Nonetheless, he did win, but he had, you know, a couple of rising stars, you know, and then also teaming up with Luca, you know, with them, and it just, you know, didn't pan out. Now, this again, the starting five is stacked, but I just feel like something's gonna go wrong. I just truly do. I don't think. And you got the Knicks, who really, again, you know, you got to watch out, man. There's a lot of fire to the Knicks still. I don't think, you know, it just constantly feels like they're being underrated. You know, Brunson has a lot to prove still. I feel like I don't think the public, even though he's won every single award under the sun, you know, everywhere you go, whether it's an MVPs, ESPN awards, I think he's even won BET awards. I don't even know. Fucking, he's just winning everything, man. All right, they're giving him all. They're getting the key to the city, but yet he can't make a 2K cover. You know, Wemby is making a 2K cover over him. The Knicks are, I don't even know, are they favored for next year's championship? Probably not. You know, like it's constantly underrating this Knicks team, and then they've seemed to, you know, retool after, you know, losing Mitchell, and they can make some tweaks along the way, but more or less the same team running it back, and that's a scary thought. You know, as good as they were, as dominant as they were in this championship run, that we're still basically fresh off of, you know, why would you count them out at this point? And you're asking a lot from a Philly team that's a completely revamped, you know, that lineup. I mean, you're bringing two superstars into that lineup. That doesn't necessarily work right away, you know.
Nah, it doesn't.
That might take a little time. You know, they might need a year to adjust and then come back for a second year. You know, but apparently LeBron's not here for that. So I don't know. I don't like it, man.
I wonder, and I'm not saying that it's worth comparing, but I wonder, does this stunt the young guy's growth in any way?
Oh, anytime you're bringing, you know, this is a win now scenario, so you immediately stunt growth when they're doing that. Now, I look at Edgecombe. What does this mean for him, right? Because now you're bringing. What happened?
Get it off the glass. They're gonna be
yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna have to find ways to make opportunities, right? He's gonna have to get aggressive in certain and different ways. But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You know, like it takes away from his development because now, or you know, do you have a LeBron that's just willing to like truly role play, which I think he's good for. But Jalen is the thing. Jalen's that issue, to be honest with you. You know, now can LeBron somehow manage that? Are they willing to manage that? Embiid, is he cool with LeBron coming in here and now calling the shots? This has been his team, right? Trust the process. You know, he's the franchise. He's always been. You know, like now you got LeBron and Jaylen Brown coming in here. You know, who criticized me, you know, publicly on the podcast. Like, you know, there's a lot to this, man. There's a lot of legs to this. It's gonna be, and then you're throwing Philadelphia in this, you know, in the mold. I mean, here we are. You know, we can't talk we can't get off the topic. I mean, it's huge news. It's all over the internet. It's all everybody was talking about today.
I know online or on social media, it looked like the Philly fans were very, very ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely some of the reaction I've seen. I've seen a couple of negative reactions though. You know, I'm not gonna lie, but I think overall, yeah, you're right. Like, why not? You know, I seen Kevin Hart, you know, gloating about it. It seemed like he already knew because there was clips of him, I think, in a recent like award show or whatever, and he kind of hinted that Philadelphia was coming up, so he probably knew about it. You know, I think you know there was definitely, you know, if you're in those circles. You know, that you probably had an idea where LeBron was going. So
yeah.
I listen.
Hopefully, Philadelphia's championship expectations don't come up shorter than Kevin Hart, though.
Damn. That's bad, Gino. That's bad.
Oh man. Lord Jesus.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight live on Twitch and YouTube. All right, episode 83. LeBron James going to the 76ers. The NBA world reacts, and here at Epis Radio, we react. And again, if you're a Knicks fan, don't worry. It's no time that this is a time to be cocky. This is a time to say Knicks in 5. We will be back What are you saying, Gino?
Can I read off to you the amount
Yeah.
of games Embiid has played in the last 3 seasons?
Yeah, you got him.
All right. So he's played 39 in 23-24.
Mm.
He played 19 in 24-25. And last year, 25-26, he played 38.
Yeah,
So
right.
I don't know what I don't know what to cheer about for that, but okay. All right.
Exactly. And then you're bringing in aging LeBron, who, what are we doing here? I don't know. Does that take, stress off Embiid? I guess it just enables them to let him. He's like the Giancarlo Stanton of the NBA, bro. Like, all right, let's just make sure he's ready for the playoffs at this point, and hope for the best. Because that's what Stanton's become for the Yankees. It's disgusting. Like, I don't know if you can really argue that his contract was ever worth it, especially when you look at it where they're not winning. They're not winning a championship, the Yankees. I don't know if they're even winning one this year. You sure as hope so that they are. Because otherwise, the future.
You don't like their chances?
It's slipping for me, that's for sure. And I think their issues are starting to show face, but that's kind of typical Yankee as well. But you got surging Red Sox. You have other teams. I mean, listen, the Dodgers. The National League, I think, is going to be aggressive. The Yankees still have their chances to go deep, and they have the roster to do so. I think they're a better playoff team than a regular season team at this point. But yeah, you had something.
Here's what I'm gonna say to you about the Yankees, right? They're 7-3 in their last 10,
Mm-hmm.
and in the American League at least in the American League, they have the highest point differential.
Yeah.
So they're doing something right.
No, for sure. I mean, they have the talent. They're up there. They're definitely a contender.
Yeah.
But they have their holes, man. No, outside of Cam, I get worried. I really do.
Okay.
And the bullpen too. I get worried with them. And then they play just poor fundamental baseball. We've seen that before. A lot of errors, just a lot of mishaps. Like it's, and why Volpe is a part of this team still is beyond me. But there's odd question marks like that. And then when you look at some of the spots in this lineup, you guys got, where you just settling with guys hitting, 220, 210. I mean, it's all or nothing with this team. It always has been. If they're not hitting home runs, they're not, typically winning. And, listen, they have some bright spots, obviously. You still have Cole there. Cam's ridiculous. But even Cole, we've seen him in the past, fall short. So, I don't know. The rest of this staff concerns me a little bit. And I still, want to believe that they might make a splash, but we've seen in the years past that they haven't really gotten aggressive at the trade deadline. They rely on what they have for the most part. They might tweak a little bit, add an arm or two there, but nothing super significant. So I mean, they might have one of the MVPs in Ben Rice. That's amazing to see. It's been great. He's been phenomenal, and in Judge's absence, they're maintaining. Of course, and then that's, once he comes back and gets ready for the postseason, I mean, this is going to be an electric team. It's good.
Gotcha.
They're good. But,
Gotcha.
it's still like, I just feel like they're like that one or two pieces away from, getting over the hump. I don't know. I'm not saying the Red Sox are going to steal it from them. I don't really know, who's going to come out of the American League, in that sense. Tampa? But Tampa's good, but I can't really make the strong argument to say that the Yankees are not can't go toe to toe with them in in a playoff series. I just don't feel that. But are they more fundamentally sound? I think so. By the numbers, I don't know. I got to check. But from the eye test, it seems so. Yeah. But the Yankees, listen, it's been a long-standing thing for them, But I only go in this direction because we talk about Embiid's absence, and it's similar to Stanton's absence. I mean, why is
Okay.
that? Why is that something that LeBron James, is banking on? You're because you got to know that he's not going to play majority of the year. And they're probably already having discussions where LeBron's not going to play, any more than 65 games, 60 games if you're lucky. It's probably, hidden in, somewhere in the contract. I don't know. Yeah, just to preserve them long term, the NBA nowadays. So it just doesn't rub well to me. I don't like it, and I'm not, saying that because I'm a Knicks fan. I'm honestly concerned for the 76ers franchise because they've had so much talent over the years and, continue to make these questionable moves. I mean, you thought after the Brown trade that, okay, that was kind of a no-brainer. You had to take it, even, with the potential of Embiid and Brown, feuding or having any issues in the locker room and whether or not they'll gel together. But you got to try to get past that. That professionals, and hope that it would make sense for them. But adding LeBron to the mix, it always changes things up. And listen, if LeBron was willing to come to the Knicks, would you take him? Because that was a big discussion, and I heard a lot of rumors for that. They were talking about it on WFAN today. Carton was saying that LeBron's camp reached out to the Knicks. I have no doubt that that's true. Not that I would take him if I was Leon Rose, and shake up what we got going on here, especially after a championship. I could understand if the Knicks ended up losing and they didn't, win this year, but
So LeBron's guy, and I can't remember his name. He was on a podcast, and I remember him saying if the Knicks hadn't won the championship, then LeBron for sure would have came to the Knicks, right?
yeah.
And that lets me know that he still thinks he's the top dog, and I don't think that was going to work on that Knicks team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to come in and play your role, bro. And if you still think you're the top guy, you're definitely not taking the ball from Brunson in crunch time.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It was intriguing, but that statement alone scared the mess out of me. And I'm like, oh, he still thinks he's the top hot dog. He doesn't realize that that's what led him to leaving Los Angeles. Like, there's younger players that probably can do things better than you can at this point, and you don't know how to let it go. So I don't know. I don't regret not having LeBron on our team.
No, you shouldn't by any means. If anything, it should have happened a year ago, right before the championship run. Like if you were going to join him at that point, but no, after the win, it's a much easier decision for the Knicks to just say, okay, let's run it back. We'll tweak things if we need to, but we don't need to make the big splash like we felt the need to do so in years past. And again, LeBron has always flirted with the Knicks over the years and probably used them as a negotiating tactic. And this is probably no different. Although, to his credit, it's clearly not about the money. It's not like he's signed for a lot of money. Is very. It almost seemed like a minimum, right? I mean, like how just $8 million, nothing crazy. So it's just really a sure desire to just join up and go there and fit that narrative. Again, on paper, that starting five is dangerous, but how? Like, what's the over under that we're even going to see that potential starting five this regular season?
You think they finish in the top four?
Oh no, I mean, hmm, probably not. No, no.
I'm not gonna say play in, but I'll say at least 5 or 6.
Yeah, they get the 6 seed to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because again, like like, and I mean, like over under is in how many games are we gonna have this potential starting five? A Maxi, Edgecombe, Brown, James, and Embiid. How many times are we gonna see that? How many games? I'll tell you, I probably under 25 games.
Wow. Okay.
Under 25 games, you're gonna see that full starting five to start a game. Like you're not gonna see it. There's somebody's gonna be sitting there one night. Like you're just not gonna see it a lot of time. So how can you expect that type potential starting five if that's gonna be your starting five going into the postseason? How can you expect them to gel properly when they barely play with each other? And just against top tier talent. I just don't think it's gonna fall on their faces, man. And then you have a polished team, a younger team, and just more cohesive team, and like the Knicks. Boston's still a threat. Like it's just there's problems.
You
Like
think Boston takes a step back?
probably. If, off the top of my head, probably, but who knows? Why? It kind of depends on what happens with the Sixers here, because if the Sixers, if it just falls flat on their face and it doesn't, pan out the way they expected, I could see them fall way back, and then Boston get a bit of a resurgence. Not that I think they're a better team, because I don't think they're a better team in the absence of Brown. I love Mitchell Robinson, but we know, his production and availability is more, suited for like a playoff spot, role player type situation, PG being like that's, doesn't intrigue me.
Mm.
But I think it's dictated on what the 76ers do and what the rest of the East, has to offer. But no, I think that Boston ultimately will take a step back this year. I think it's going to come down to the Knicks Sixers right now. I mean, it's probably the two obvious choices outside of Boston, right? I mean, who else in your mind, is going to take that next step? I mean, you got Detroit still lingering around, but I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't like them not being able to sign during.
Right. Something deters me away from that. Like it just doesn't, especially after, last year where they were really the team and, it fell short for them real quick. So, nothing
Yeah.
screams to me that's going to change this year. Yeah, I think their Knicks have a really good shot, man. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Knicks fan. And listen, last year I barely, no, it wasn't up till like after beating the Hawks in the playoffs where I started to really truly believe that this team was a championship team. But this year, no, I think I can confidently say that they have a hell of a chance to go back to back. I don't know if they'll win it. Still got to get past
Yeah.
the West, but
I think the
uh,
West is going to continue. I think between the Spurs and the
okay,
between the
see,
Spurs and the OKC, they can continue to beat each other up in the championship in the Western Conference Finals, and then
and that
probably
might
have
bode
nothing left in the
well.
finals.
Now, listen, you got to watch out for Minnesota, man. All right, I like Minnesota this year. I think that's a dangerous.
Why do you like Minnesota this year?
I mean, because the addition of Ball, I mean, I think I really do think that could change things a little bit. I think
You
they're a
think Ball's a
real.
winning player?
I think in this lineup with this roster in that environment, I think it might have the opportunity to gel well. And they're the underdogs coming in. There always will be. You got Wemby in the way, you got Shea and OKC in the way. They're always going to be looked down upon. I still, it was a little bit disappointing with Minnesota, but again, we understood why when you seen what we know Julius Randle and all that, we expected that type of disappointment. I think this will be a different team. Truthfully, we expected that. It's not. Ant didn't really do enough to put him over that threshold. But again, he doesn't. The supporting cast is not good enough. Ball's a player, man. Ball's a player, and maybe this is a good spot for him. He could make it work. Listen, they what he was doing in Charlotte was ridiculous, and they were really making. They were a threat. They were one of the best teams in the NBA for a good stretch there last year. They were shooting threes and lights out.
So you want to see your point guard taking one-legged threes?
No, I do not. But for some reason, it works for him. So I'm not like he's one of those players. It's like that exception. I'm sorry. Like he just when he's hot, he's hot. It's a ride or die situation. Listen, he's getting a little older. It might be a slightly different with Ant. I don't know, or not. But I just like him. And listen, the Spurs, as good as they are on paper, after what we've seen with Wemby, I'm sorry. It does nothing for me to believe
Okay.
that things are going to change with the Spurs.
Okay.
Like I hated how aggressively violent he got in his basketball nature. How he turned into some sort of villain that way. And I think he manifested his own future by saying that he will never be back again in that presser. And when he lost it all. It's oddly telling of what is to come for him. OKC, on the other hand, I think their days are numbered, with their style of play. I think basketball is catching on to it. I think, they're making their adjustments. The Knicks, I think, would have probably have beat them.
Okay.
Regardless in the finals,
Okay.
So it's really, I look to the West and I say, who's up next?
Okay.
Is it Minnesota or is it somebody else? Does Jokic make one final run? Like who knows?
I feel like not losing Nas Reed does not make up for them getting the Ball brother.
Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah,
I just it's certain things I don't like, and then I don't know if he's necessarily a winning player like that. Then he's got to realize how he's going to get the ball to the golden child, and like they want to make it seem like it's a two-headed monster, but it really isn't. I think the first time he takes a one-legged three, like it's not a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. Like I don't know. I feel like Charlotte is like Bush League.
Yeah, but I mean, they were making noise, man. They were making noise. They were doing a lot of good. For a moment there, you felt like they could be a real Cinderella story. But now he comes to a better team. It's certainly going to be put up or shut up. I think it's going to really dictate the rest of his career, along with Ant. If this doesn't work out, is it finally time for Ant to move on and go elsewhere? And it's going to really shake things up for these two for their careers going forward. But Ball, man, listen, despite it all and his own unorthodox ways, I think he's definitely one of the best in the league. I think like a good top 30 easily, and like he's up there, man. He's very super talented and has that potential. It's just whether or not he can really rein it in and have that championship pedigree. I think I agree with you. I think it's in question for him. The same with Ant, but they have the talent. They have the talent alone, and who's to say Minnesota doesn't make a move, acquire somebody? That's always possible too. Still, But yeah, I think there's some more question marks when you look at the top of the West, as opposed to last year. I think it was pretty solidified that OKC, San Antonio were the top tier teams, and you just knew, and it ended up being that way. With the East. I mean, obviously, You know, 76ers odds of winning the championship must have jumped tremendously after, the acquisition of James today. And I would assume they're maybe third favorite. I think the Knicks are like second. Who's first? It would probably, is it Detroit again? There's
No,
no way.
I think Detroit's going to take a
Is
serious
Cleveland?
step back.
Is it Cleveland? Let's see. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Odds to win. Let's see. Who do you think it is right now?
Who's the number one team?
Yeah, right now, favorite to win.
OKC.
Get the fuck.
Yeah, OKC.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think OKC.
All right, so what do you think the order is? OKC. You got number one OKC. Who else? Who's number two?
San Antonio,
Yep.
and I'm gonna go Knicks 3.
Yep.
So my top 5 is gonna be OKC, San Antonio, New York. I don't know. I feel like Boston takes a step back. I feel like Philly takes a step back. I feel like Detroit takes a serious step back. I think Denver takes a step back. Jeez.
But who's your 4 or 5? Who's your 4 or 5 favorite? Just take a guess, quick. Because you got the first 3. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oklahoma City and San Antonio are actually tied for the favorites to win the championship. They're both. They're both plus.
I figured that they would be.
They're both plus 270 right now. The Knicks.
Yeah.
Plus 900. The defending championship Knicks. Plus 900.
Well, you have to
that's
understand,
crazy.
The reason why you see so much movement in the league is like it's almost like they don't respect the Knicks championship.
No, nobody does.
Like, yeah,
but
so it's like I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. But yeah, you've seen teams make all these moves because of a Knicks championship. All the teams trying to adjust and figure out how they can take down the Knicks, and yet he's still in the Vegas' eyes. They don't get the respect. Willie, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man? Thank you for stopping by. Come from Twitch. So again, you got the first 3: Oklahoma City, San Antonio, New York Knicks. Those are the top 3 favorites to win. I'll give you a hint here. The 4th is also tied in the odds with the Knicks. So they're also a plus 900 team to win it all. Who is the team?
I hope they don't have Cleveland up there.
Come on.
None of the head, Cleveland, Philly. I'm not strong on those 2 teams.
You don't think it's Cleveland or Philly?
No, I said gun to the head, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Philly. I'm not too high on either one of them.
You think it's Boston at the 4?
I don't know. I don't know. They regress so bad. It's such a regression with Paul George coming in. Like that guy should be doing podcasts more than he should be playing basketball right now. So if you tell me that he helps elevate them, and you don't know what you're gonna get from JT coming off that injury for a whole season, like I people are in for a rude awakening with Boston.
Yeah.
Like a rude awakening.
Come on, you got it? What's the prediction?
No, I got those 3, and then I said I reluctantly pick Cleveland and Philly.
Oh, so you're saying Cleveland 4, Philly 5.
Yeah.
And so the Philadelphia 76ers are tied at number 4, or essentially tied at 3 with the Knicks at plus 900, and obviously,
That's disgusting.
that's after the acquisition of James. They jumped
That's
tremendously. I think they were much lower. I don't know exactly where they at, but I think they were probably 25 to 1 odds. In that pack of Nuggets and Timberwolves and Toronto and all that, Detroit. Because you have literally Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit, you have Toronto, Minnesota, Denver, all 25 to 1 odds. You have Boston Celtics as the 5th best odds to win at 13 to 1. Championship, that is. So, yeah, those are the teams.
Philly being tied with the Knicks is disgusting.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that Detroit is the favorite to win the division. They're minus 110. Knicks plus 175.
So for me, for the Knicks, I wonder, do they go all in to win the division? Do they go all in to win the Eastern Conference?
Yeah.
And be the top seed? Like, I don't know if they're gonna go all in like that. I think they don't mind being the 2 or the 3 seed and then doing what they need to do in the playoffs.
Well, it's much like last year, right? Like where they were seem rather content,
Picking them this year. They're gonna expect a lot from them, and I'm like, they might just hold on through the season and then turn it on again.
Yeah. I mean, not a bad idea, especially with the Brunson injury and the surgery that he's now had in the offseason.
Yeah.
Although he should be back ready to go for opening day, but
I think he will be.
There's really truthfully no reason to rush him back, and I think if they needed to give him a little extra rest. It's not the worst thing in the world, especially enduring such long seasons that they've had now for the last 2 seasons. They've played a lot of playoff basketball. They have an Eastern Conference run and now a championship run. It's a lot. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to give the guy a little bit of time off and focus on his health and just and for a late postseason run. So I think that's accurate in that sense. But hey, championship odds, I will say this, at least now I guess now the 76ers and the Knicks are according to Vegas tied. Plus 900 for the Knicks, man. To win the conference, they're plus 330. As a future bet or something, just saying, gamble responsibly. That's not terrible. Plus 900 to win it all. That's not terrible either. It's worth throwing $100 on or something like that. Fuck, throw it in a parlay. It's not terrible. Geez. But yeah, you look at other teams, and again, look at Miami, man, 30 to 1. Then nobody has faith, that they're going to do
nobody
anything.
On that team, to me, nobody on that team except Bam could possibly hit a jump shot.
Right.
So I don't even think about Miami.
You have to look at Boston, Cleveland, and Detroit as if they're the true threats in the East, outside of Philly. Again, they're rating Philly very high. To me, I like Cavaliers ahead of Philly. I just do. In the regular season at least. Do I think it could all gel together and Philadelphia will be ready to go come playoff time? Most likely. So my early thought is, they'll probably get to an Eastern Conference with the Knicks, but I don't know. Something in my gut just says something's gonna go wrong with them. I'm hoping it's it's not the Knicks, and the Knicks will get back to that, and it's gonna be real interesting, man. I don't know. We could be looking at a very big year and a big couple of years for the New York Knicks here. Could you imagine another finals run? For the Knicks. Oh man, it's kind of setting up that way, bro. Like I don't see with all this movement. Do you feel real confident that there's a team out there that can stop them? Like they're the one with no movement, and sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing.
I'm trying not to be cocky. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, I think, again, like you said earlier in the show, winning a championship kind of like this laissez-faire feeling to it, where it's like,
Yeah.
we're good. It's all right. What's the worry? We'll be
What
all
can go
right.
wrong?
Right. And listen, if they lose, oh, boo-hoo,
Oh,
We
Kevin
had
Durant
it.
said it'll be another 53 years.
Yeah, I know. I did hear that. Yeah. Listen, go fuck yourself. All right. When's the last time he won something? He's like you said earlier too. It's about time that he rides off into the sunset along with Curry.
Please do.
It's getting
Oh,
there at least. How much longer is he gonna go? As good as he's been, and but there's always a funny side to Durant. I'm actually disappointed in the Kevin Durant career. To be honest, I almost expected more, from him. I did expect more.
that's quite a statement.
What happened?
I said that's quite a statement.
I guess so.
I feel like that too, though.
I mean,
I just don't
he's a Hall of
I feel like
Famer,
that
right?
too. I just don't say it out loud because I know I'd probably get attacked. But yeah.
Why? Why? I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. Can we agree on that? Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Like he's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. He's at his peak. One of the most dangerous shooters, one of the dangerous dynamic players of all time. Definitely up there. I mean, there was definitely a time where you wanted the ball in his hands. I don't know if that time is now anymore. It's dwindling.
But he wants to play the right way.
Yeah.
The right way would be for him to take his ball and go home.
Right. These guys are acting like they still, have it. I mean, shit, LeBron's still trying to make it happen. Kudos, still putting up numbers. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to, lead to a championship. Again, with Durant, I don't know. I don't know if it was his fitness. I don't know this and that, but like it just felt like there was always something missing. Then again, I don't think he should have ever left OKC, and things could have been different there. And
yeah,
that whole tandem with Harden and all that. There's some part of me that wishes we could all go back. Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, and relive that and see, a change there. But that's a thing of the past. Big Willie says plus 900 for the Knicks is disrespectful. This new and improved Sixers roster may get a game against the Knicks now in a 7-game series. I was thinking they might get 2 games. Like if you're talking a full, healthy, starting 5, Tyrese, Hedgecombe, Brown, James, Embiid in a playoff series, Eastern Conference final against a rather healthy Knicks team with their depth. Yeah, all right. I'll give them 6 games at best.
Hey, keep in mind they lost what's the name off the bench? They lost Grimes. I think Grimes is in Los Angeles.
Right. Yeah, their depth took a hit, man. And the Knicks again, they're seemingly, I think, just going to transition nicely. Drummond's a nice piece. The transition of Drummond's late career now, he can shoot. You can actually rely on not
I've seen the IG videos of Mitch shooting too. I don't need him shooting.
No, but but Drummond, and listen, he's been available. He's played 60 plus games. He's going to be around. He played 65 games last year, and he developed a 3-point shot. He can spread the floor a little bit. Not that I need him to, no doubt. Like I'm not relying on him coming off the bench, but it just adds another dynamic to this team. And listen, he's got New York ties. It feels like a great fit. Role player, you need him. Shooting better from the free throw. Like it was the right fit for them. I said it. I was like, yeah, Drummond's probably gonna find a way to this team, and lo and behold, he did. So yeah, would I have liked to keep Mitch? I would have, truthfully. But I'm a Mitch guy. I've always been a Mitchell Robinson guy. I hate to see him in a Boston uniform. It's disgusting. I'm not gonna boo him. You know, I'll always clap for Mitch. But you know, it's just disgusting to see. Like, should have never happened. But I understood. Boston paid him the money. You know, it made sense for the Knicks not to. And that's it. You know, we move on. You know, like, it is what it is. You know, again, easier said after winning a championship as opposed to not winning one, and these moves taking place. So, you know, the ebbs and flows of the free agency, man. But what crazy news that took place today? I wasn't expecting this. Where did you think he was ending up, Gino? Where was your thoughts on that?
I thought, honestly, maybe back to Cleveland,
Yeah.
but I don't blame him for not wanting to play with Harden. He knows Harden ain't headed nowhere fast.
Yeah, man. I told you before earlier. I mean, I just thought Cleveland was the more, you know, Cinderella story. I thought would be a fitting end to his career. It just made sense. I didn't, you know, but hey, I guess you know, he follows the narrative of his career where he kind of, you know, has built these super teams, and fuck it, why not one more time? And let me just go out with another super team, and you know, but is it a super team that's successful, or is it a super team that's a failure? Something tells me that it's just gonna fall on his face and be another failure. And that's it's a poor blemish, poor way to go out. I would have respected it more if you just went home and, you know, again, you make a run, deep playoff run, but you fall short, and you know, you ride off into the sunset and you start your second career in life. So I don't know. That would have been, you know, but I'm a romantic when it comes to that type of shit. I like to see that more. That's the stuff that I want to see. Sometimes it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always end with a happy ending, you know, like it's just, you know, but an honorable one at that. And, you know, I don't know. I guess there's not a lot of honorable moments of LeBron James. Oh, I wouldn't necessarily put it that way. I guess there is, but there's been some questionable, you know, moments of LeBron James' career, and this is probably one of them.
Yeah.
This is probably one of them. But don't be surprised if we see, you know, years later, LeBron James purchases shares for the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, he is part owner. Something tells me that's happening too, which is just weird. I don't. You know, like he's planting the seed now. You know, like this is gonna be my other career movie. And all of a sudden, LeBron's the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, like
LeBron, he's not good at putting teams together. So
I don't know. Nah, Big Willie, how was Cali, brother? Bro, Cali was amazing, man. I got to admit, I've never really gotten a chance to experience California, and this was like my first chance. I went to like San Diego when I was a freshman in high school. Didn't really do too much, just chilled. But like this was my first real opportunity of exploring a large part of California. We stayed in Santa Cruz, in near San Francisco. Went to San Francisco, hung out there a lot. Went to Yosemite, you know, traveled the countryside, went to farmland, mountain lands, you know, took Route 1 all the way down the Pacific coast, which was just an absolutely fucking gorgeous drive. I recommend it to everybody. Once in your life, you have to make this drive. There's stops along the way. There's shit to do, towns to discover. Food amazing, you know, like it's just truthfully, I gotta say, Pacific Coast, East Coast, I grew up as a true East Coast here in the Northeast and in New York. I mean, the coastlines, at least, I don't know, I gotta tip my hat to the Pacific Coast. It's otherworldly. It's not like the East Coast. East Coast is not that sexy. What do you got? Fucking Virginia, Delaware, and the Carolinas, and Florida. You know, I mean, Miami, I've never been to Miami, but I'm pretty sure LA can, compete with Miami a little bit in that sense. The beach is beautiful, and LA, you have the best of, California in general, you have the best of both worlds. You have mountains, you have beaches. So, I mean, we went to Venice Beach down there, went to Santa Monica Pier, just absolutely gorgeous. I get it. I get it. I understand why you deal with the pollution, you deal with the traffic, and, kind of screw LA a little bit. I wouldn't live in LA. I wouldn't. Let me just take that back. It kind of feels like a fake New York. But the beaches are absolutely gorgeous. Far better than the beaches we have out here, the Rockaways, Jones Beach, Coney Island. As much as I like some of those locations, I'm sorry. I really do truly believe the West Coast wins. I thought I never would say that. But it's just that gorgeous, that beautiful. And the lifestyle out there is definitely a bit slower. The people are definitely a bit different. The fashion is entirely different, which is interesting. I'm not a fan of Hollywood, gotta say. It just didn't. New York City is way better. Like, there's nothing like Manhattan. That's what I did learn about this a little bit. I like San Francisco more than I like LA. I would, if I had to choose, I'd probably live Northern California, somewhere in the mountains, man, or farmland, raise some freaking Black Angus cows or some shit, But California was beautiful. Yeah, San Fran's nice. Yeah.
I think San Fran's the most expensive city in the country.
Yeah, between that or LA, hell yeah, for sure.
There's people out there. There's people out there making six figures that need a roommate.
Right, but it's kind of crazy though. Here's the thing: the cost of living is pretty high, but when you look to like local produce and local farms and things like that, like you could get shit like stupid cheap, and like gas prices are very high, right? Like I was paying easy $5.50. Gallon for gas. Some places over $6. I think the highest I ever seen was like close to $7. That was in LA. I did find one spot that was under $5. I was like, oh my god, it's like some just weird countryside spot where it was cheap. I was like, oh, how's that possible? What kind of gas are you giving me over here? But bro, like we pass like these local farms, bro. They have signs, for produce for sale. And I don't know if you know, but California literally makes up 50% of the produce across the whole country. They have so much farmland that they're literally responsible for 50% all in the state of California. They're big on beans, oranges, things like that. It's just like a bunch of shit, and apparently avocados too. You get avocados there. The best I seen was 20 avocados for $1. $1. I'm not even joking, bro. Like $20. You can buy one avocado for $4.50 here in the local food market. Like you get, and most of the time I'd see, 10 avocados, $1. And that wasn't the only thing. There was like other produce you could buy as well. Now listen, you had to drive a little bit, but if you're smart, you could go to the countryside and get your shit, man, for cheap, and in bulk, of all things, It was very weird. You would see along these, the Route 1s and things like that, you would see homeless in the middle of nowhere, almost like desert land type areas, pretty far earshot away from like towns and all that. But, people living in country, they, probably just living off the land, fishing, and or the enough money that they're able to scrounge, they can go to these local farms potentially, and feed themselves for a little bit. Now, I don't know if it's gonna bode well to buy 20 avocados, and it's probably gonna spoil before you could get through all of them. But you know what I mean? Like you could still, in a way, survive. There's a lot of homeless out there, man. I experienced it in
I heard.
Santa Monica as well. Got to see. I didn't go to Skid Row and all that, but I there was a spot in Santa Monica where it was near where I actually did a race out there. I did a 50K ultra out there in the redwoods, and it wasn't too far from the location I was running at. You know, when I'm leaving the race, we came across it. We just turned a corner, man, and you just see fucking, and it's inner city. You see just tents lined up, you know, down the block, stretching for like a good 2 blocks, man. And you even seen some locals setting up a little barbecue, and then they were getting ready to cook for them and all that. So, you know, people help out there. That's for sure. And there's a bit of sense of community with that. But it's just interesting to see. Aesthetically, though, California is just gorgeous. You know, we had a great time. It was just me and Dorothy, and I definitely would love to go back, explore more. I don't know if I could live out there, but if I would, it would be Northern California for me. Yeah, somewhere near the mountains. I need to be closer to Yosemite. Yosemite National Park was just absolutely a dream for me. So that was cool to see. Definitely want to go back, have more memories, bring the kids out there, maybe go camping and shit. You know, definitely got a lot of plans for me. But yeah, man, crazy stuff. You know, crazy stuff. You know, and back home, and you know, back to the norm. Here we go again. Until the next trip. I don't know when my next trip is. We'll see. You know, getting ready. Training for the New York City Marathon, which again, I have some updates about that. So I don't know, Gino, if you're aware, but I announced yesterday on the Mental Health Show that I will be hosting a first of its kind fundraising event hosted by Epis Radio. Epis Radio is taken to the streets. Okay, for the first time ever, August 29th. We will be hosting a fundraising event. We're raising money for student athletes for the Bronx Burners, mission, and for their goal of helping kids go to the college and help out with college tuition and all that. And also, by doing so, by raising money for them, we're also achieving my dream of being able to run the New York City Marathon. So I'm hosting a charity basketball game. The update that I have today for you guys is that we officially just got sponsored by yet another local eatery. Fresh Meadows Pizzeria has agreed to sponsor the event, so we'll be, you know, having some food donated by them, and you know, I'm very excited about that, you know, partnership. I already mentioned yesterday we got Golden K Burgers from Bell Boulevard as well involved. We got Mo's Halal involved. We got a good friend of mine, Nina's Garden, who makes little planters, you know, mainly directed, you know, for the young youth, but not limited to adults, you know, like Pokemon planters, things like that, you know, like they're going to donate as prizes for certain activities we got going on aside from the charity basketball game. You know, basically just, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. It's probably just going to be pickup games, and or if we get enough people, tournament style, we'll have other activities, other field games going on, like javelin throws, sack races, you know, carry the egg, shit like that. It's just community. I also booked a band as well. That's new. That's new news today. I got a band coming through. So we got a lot going on. We got a mental health station set up. We got the Epis radio station set up. You know, there's going to be just free giveaways, raffle giveaways. So a lot going on for that. I'm still solidifying my permits at the moment, but I'm very confident we're not going to have any issue getting approved for that. We're just, it's pending at the moment. So it's great. Possible some charity poker? Shit, man. Willie. Of course you would say that. Oh, man. Can we do a charity poker game? I don't know. That might get convoluted with permits, because if people are throwing around real money. But you know what, though? We could do that at my house. We could do a charity poker game. And I was thinking about that. That would be nice. Now, I'm curious to talk to you about that, Will, because how will we do that? What, certain percentage of the pot, final pot, you know, proceeds go to the charity? If I host a game, does that sound good? Like 15%? Because I'm down for that. Like, that'd be dope. You know, I don't want to take too much. You know, 20%, I feel like that's a lot. 15%? You know, how do you feel about that? Go straight to the proceeds, you know, to the charity? Because I'd be down. You know, that'd be awesome. I could definitely, you know, promote that if you're down for that. You know, I'd be you know, a cater for you guys too. We'll have a, you know, good night of poker. We could even fucking live stream it a little bit, just for shits and giggles. Even though it's highly illegal, right? But who knows? Who cares? Who's gonna come knocking? You
I
know,
don't know.
you know.
Oh, man.
What, you think
Fans
somebody's
don't have
coming
to-
knocking, bro? You know,
Yeah,
for
hey, man, the
for a
fans are coming-
local cash game in Queens? Oh
Hey
man.
man, they coming for people betting inside their house. So I don't know these days, man.
I highly doubt they're coming crashing down. You know, you got the casinos out here in Queens. It's practically legal, you know.
Gotcha.
And I don't know. And I know. I mean, maybe I won't live stream it, but you know. But we are gonna
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, maybe I won't live stream it. Although that would be cool. Not gonna lie. But yeah, like first of its kind event, man. I'm so excited. I'm gonna have gonna motivate guest speakers. I'll be talking. You know, maybe just giving away some merch, things like that. So I'm gonna make some new Epis radio, you know, shirts and mugs, maybe some hats. Again, I'm trying to acquire more sponsors as well. So I'm hoping, you know, I can maybe get one or two more sponsors to join up for this event. So please, anybody listening out there right now, Twitch, YouTube, or if you want, you know, watching and post, if you're interested, you know, I'll have all the links necessary. It's a ticketed event. You know, you need to make a donation in order to be a part of it initially, to have access to the activities. So, you know, I don't know if it's going to be limited tickets available. I really, you know, want to stretch it out as much as I can possible. I don't know how many tickets I'm initially going to put out there. But you know, it's a very trafficky area, so even you know, people, you know, walking in the park that day, I'm sure if they wanted to get involved, I'll have it available for them there to, you know, place a donation. Right now, I'm putting it at $25 for adults, $15 for kids ages 6 to 13. And again, that would give you full access to, you know, everything that's going on: food, entertainment, basketball games, side table games, you know, raffle giveaways, the whole nine. You know, so I think it's gonna be great. I can't wait for it, man. I'm super excited. It's been a little stressful planning it, but yeah, like the fact that, you know, Epis Radio is gonna, you know, come to this and having a first of its kind event, and you know, who knows? You know, maybe, you know, this is, you know, things to come. You know, I've already had talks with my cousin about, you know, potentially hosting basketball tournaments and handball tournaments, and, you know, who knows where we'll go from there. Like literally setting up leagues, you know, hosted and run by Epis Radio, and, you know, catering, entertainment, the whole nine. You know, bring, you know, street ball back a little bit. You know, I got some ideas, man. I got some ideas. So, you know, stay tuned as always, and you know, keep showing up, man. It's a beautiful thing. So happy to give you guys that announcement tonight. Again, happy Friday, 11:32. LeBron James goes to the 76ers. Woohoo, everybody! How do you feel? I think the only one's happy about it, Gino, is Philadelphia 76ers fans. I don't think there's any other fan in the NBA that's happy about this. Maybe the Knicks fan? Yeah, LeBron's happy.
LeBron fans.
LeBron fans, are they a different type of fan? You really?
Yeah. They follow LeBron wherever he goes.
I'm a LeBron. I would say I'm a LeBron fan. I'm not happy with his decision to go there. I wanted him to go to Cleveland.
You're definitely in the minority.
But that's on the premise that he's gonna win there, and I just don't think. I think that you're seeing that with blind eyes if you just automatically think this is a guaranteed win. I mean, Vegas seems to, you know, think so a little bit, putting them, you know, tied for third.
I don't know if you know this, but LeBron fans don't think that the sun revolves around the earth. They think the sun revolves around LeBron.
Yeah, we got a lot of flat earthers with the LeBrons, the LeBron fans.
The sun revolves around LeBron. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
There was
How
a,
mu-
I mean, to be honest with you, there was a big clash in LA because there were LeBron fans that transferred over to become Laker fans, and then there were people that were still the Laker fans, and then the Kobe fans that kind of didn't want anything to do with LeBron.
Right.
Like, I don't even really remember running into Laker fans that were like excited about the bubble championship.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, and I think overall, league-wide, that championship is looked at like it's farce. It's not really real. I don't. Do you look at it like that?
Yeah.
But why?
You didn't have to go on the
Specifically,
road.
why?
You didn't have to go on the road and play
Okay.
in the hostile environments. Somebody at the time, think about it, that was older like LeBron, you stopped the season, then continued, so gave him a chance to just rest and relax. Like, I don't know, man. Just, you played all your games inside the bubble in Orlando, so there was no away games, there was no home court advantage. It's just, I don't know, man. And if you listen to the rest of the players that was there, it was such an uneasy time or feeling, and they couldn't be around their families. And it's like they really couldn't wait to get it over with and keep it moving. You know what I mean? So, like, we make fun of Lou Williams, and we call him Lemon Pepper Lou because he left and went to the strip club and and came like we can't forget that 2020 season was a crazy time. It was a crazy time in America.
No doubt about that. But I would argue that in itself is what kind of made that more difficult than winning and playing in that type of environment. It's a different type of feel. It's not, I wouldn't say that's necessarily easier or harder. You know, it's, I think it's equally in its own way difficult, to, thrive in that type of environment, and listen, somebody had to win. You can't say that they weren't a good team. They had to be at least top 3 talent, league wide that year. Didn't circumstances fall the way? Sure. But it wasn't like they had an easy road to it, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it put them at an advantage. I think everybody was at a disadvantage, man. It was a weird time for all of us to be alive. Could you imagine what it's like, being in this bubble and playing under these circumstances and being together and living almost together for a certain amount of time. It's odd, and to rise above that, I think there's something to be said for that. But I know that's not the overall opinion on it.
So I'll say this, man. Playoff game and having to go to somebody else's building to win a playoff game, like when the series was started between San Antonio and the Knicks, I know the Knicks were the lower seed. So what did that do? How did that galvanize Knicks and the Knicks fans when they went into San Antonio?
Yeah.
And won those first 2 games. So I think there's a lot to be said.
That's an isolated spot, though.
Building. Huh?
That's an isolated example, though, because we have seen that home court doesn't always play. It's not always
you still got to go in there, but it's different than we playing at a neutral gym and it's like a controlled environment.
Sure.
There's no fans and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
But I would argue that then it's a 50-50 spot,
To me, the bubble championship is how I refer to it, and I feel like it has an asterisk next to it.
Yeah, we say that because of the circumstances. I don't know. I don't think it's illegitimate though. It's we're almost looking at it like it's a lockout year, and it's just it kind of doesn't count. And I'm like, I don't know about that, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't. It certainly didn't define his time there. I think really the Luka failures and just that and then everything that transpired with management there, like it's just that probably defines it more. It overshadows that Lakers championship, and now
Yeah.
his pursuit at another ring. It's more of the same. Here's another super team for LeBron. One last time. with the looming player option that exists now. So we have to question that and wonder, okay, does this mean he's not done? All right.
Yeah.
That's enough for LeBron tonight. All right. Before
Yeah.
we get out of here, I did want to promo Gino a little bit here. He announced today to me that the official website, the blackdutchco.com website, is finally out. Here it is for you, everybody. He's got some merch available right now for you. Check him out. BLACDUTCHCO.com. All right. He's got a couple of shirts up there, a couple of designs. What do you got?
Man.
You got about 3 designs. You got about 3 up there right now. What do you got?
Yeah, got 3 up there right now. I'll be adding more, of course, but right now, just get the whistle wet. Put those shirts up there. And then it's offered in a shirt. It's offered in a long sleeve shirt. It's also offered in a crew neck and also a hoodie.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And I got your the shirt that I made for you.
Yes.
The Stone Cold with the Mets design, which is one of my favorite ones that I've made. I think I'm gonna make an Anunoby throwing out that pitch.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Uniform.
You should do
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I need to do something with that. I don't know why. Anunoby's one of my favorite guys. He's wearing a Mets uniform, and then the crazy thing is Jose Reyes was his favorite player. So that is amazing all in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's the shirts that you are available for you to buy right here. See, priced at $35. The 808, the old Kanye. I like that. Nino, that's a cool one. The world is yours. Everybody loves the sunshine. I love the graphics, bro. Hey, listen, I'm gonna throw that out to you right now. Well, are you up for maybe donating a hoodie or a shirt or two, and maybe I could give it out.
I could definitely do that.
I could give it out as a prize at the event or something like that, and promo you and all that. We'll have.
I am so down, and I got some shirts already.
All right, yeah. Listen, I would love that if I could get some, because I'm trying to do some big giveaways towards the end, or if we do tournament style or some activities with the adults, I want to do some big giveaways. I'm going to do a raffle giveaway. So if we could get a really nice hoodie, something like that, whatever.
So I have the if you're able on the website now to go to the contact page, right? If you see that design there, which is basically OG's tip-in.
Yeah, okay, I like that. There you go.
That I have that as a shirt, and I'll probably
I love that.
to you.
Yeah.
That plus another shirt, I'll figure it out. I'll get it to you.
Oh, that could be the main gift, bro. That could be the main prize giveaway.
That's one of my favorite designs that I've made.
Oh, if you can, and again, we would, happily promo you on all the socials and do all that.
Yeah,
you'd be an affiliated sponsor of the event. Yeah, man. I know people would actually go crazy for that if that was, that'd be great. It's a great logo. Everybody could see on the screen for you there. I'll move it over a little bit. There you go. Awesome. I love that. That's a dope. I gotta actually get one. Do you have that in a hoodie, bro? Can you do that? Because I would for me personally, Yeah. Because that would be dope. I would like that in a hoodie. Yeah.
Right now, I have it on a blue shirt. And then I can also possibly get it in a white. But if you have a special color you'd like it on, I can make that happen. So we'll talk about that.
Ooh, orange.
Yeah.
If I could get an orange hoodie, yeah.
say that, but that's what I was
I mean,
thinking
orange
also.
is my favorite color, so like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I get an orange hoodie
Yeah.
with that, because especially with the blue outline of the court and all that, I think it would be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a nice look to it. It could even be like white and orange. Fucking, I don't even know if you could do like a tie dye, but a tie dye white and orange or some shit. That'd be fucking dope.
Okay. Okay.
That'd be something cool.
Okay.
Either
Yeah.
way, that'd be go. But yeah, if you can, bro, like I would really appreciate if you can, donate some stuff, for the
Yeah.
event, and promo you. I'm glad to have talked to you about it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It just popped in my head. I was like, fuck it, let me ask him.
Yeah. I'll make it happen.
That'd be dope. Yeah, because I'm looking for a couple of things. I'm like, man, and I got like some food vendors, willing to sponsor, but now I'm like, I gotta like find some like fucking businesses that are willing to maybe lend a hand as well in that regard.
Yeah.
Because again, because of the ticketed nature of it, and kind of requiring people to donate, incentivize the donation. I'd like to, do right by them and give away some stuff, and feel like,
Yeah.
their time is worthy there,
Of
So,
course. I'm down, man.
yeah, man. Awesome. I appreciate you. So check them out. Black Dutch, CO, make sure BLACDUTCHCO.com. You can see it right there to the right of your screen. All right, how to sign up if you want to contact, right there, simple. Drop your name, email, send a little message. All right,
Yeah,
I like it.
I also allow you, if you have something that you want to put on a shirt, if you want to send me your design on like a PNG in a PNG format, that I put it on a shirt for you at a certain price. So
Oh, beautiful.
I also offer that.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, man. I like it. I like the layout, looking good. Love the colors too. Yeah. Again, I'm
Thank
an
you.
orange guy, so yeah, I like it. It's very nice. I gotta ask you how you set all this up. I mean, I need to make my own website and all that. That needs to happen outside of just having the YouTube page and this other socials. That's the next thing coming. Is the
So
Epis radio
I
page.
chose the
Yeah.
hard path of doing it on Wix, where you basically have to go in and design everything.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I'm sure there's
it was,
other ways, right? Other easier fucking.
there's other ways, but for
Yeah.
some reason, I wanted to be able to control everything, the colors, everything that pops up, everything. So I did it through Wix. If you need help with that, let me know, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, man. Awesome stuff. All right, man. I'm just about fried. So it's been a long hell of a day. Obviously, the discussion has been mainly about LeBron and the whole basketball landscape. I mean, how could it not be? The Mets, we'll touch on them just briefly here before we get out of here, because of course you and me are long time suffering Mets fans, and it's just gotten to abysmal proportions on this season, to the point where you got Trump joking about them in the media recently. Just you got, was it Mookie Betts and Bryce Harper on a podcast. I think they're doing something for a Bleacher Report, and Harper's talking about the turmoil in the Mets clubhouse, and now just hinting at the issues that the Mets have. Although I will say, to his credit, he did acknowledge us as his rival team, but because they blew up the core, it is simply no more. Or at least for now, that goes. What are your thoughts, bro? I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of them. Obviously, Mendoza, being let go, and we all question that was even, necessary, or, I made at the right time. Probably should have been way before they actually made the move. What are your thoughts? Where are you at with the Mets this season?
I'm paying attention to baseball.
Yeah.
I am so turned off by the Mets. I don't know. There's a smugness about concerns that I really don't like.
Mm-hmm.
The news that came out that they were using AI, I guess, to
Oh, that
kind
was
of
a
like
bad one.
tell them tell them people what to swing at and what to pitch. Like that that was disgusting. Where baseball had to step in and tell them no, stop doing that.
Yeah, who
So like
leaked that, by the way? That was what's his name? Former Mets pitcher. What's his name? I'm blanking right now. It's got was it Trevor?
I'm not sure
It was
who it
Trevor
was,
something.
but
Was Trevor? Why is it? I'm not thinking of the name. I'll find it. Yeah, it was a former Mets pitcher. He hosts a podcast, now about it. But yeah, how they were using AI tech, to Steve Cohen himself, investing in this AI tech to to use in game to predict possible pitching outcomes, things like that. And then MLB intervening
disgusting.
and literally stopping them from using this type of technology, which is hilarious to me. It was Trevor May. Thank you, Will. I knew it was like Trevor. I'm like, it's on the tip of his Trevor May. Yeah, Trevor May. Shout out to him. He knew about this. Apparently, came out in one of his podcasts and said, yeah, I've been aware of this. This has been going on. So it's been a known thing. It's kind of interesting that it's been, you know, hidden under the curtains a little bit, under the sheets, for this long. We're just hearing about it now and very subtly at that. But honestly, like, okay, it doesn't, is that illegal? Is that really having an advantage? Because it hasn't, resulted in a championship. It's interesting that the league came down on them about this technology. I guess, they're worried about the rest of the league catching on and utilizing it as well. But yeah, this is what kind of pisses me off with this organization. They've taken the analytics too far,
Way too far.
way too far. And it's been a growing trend with baseball over the years, but now we're even just seeing it infiltrate the Mets. And I feel like with Cohen, more so than the Wilpons. Like, I don't think they were ever embracing the technology to these lengths, and I don't think they ever would have. Not to say that we would have been better off with them, but, like, this is not how you have winning baseball. This is not how you develop a winning team. You don't rely on technology like that. There has to be the human element to coaching and developing, and we're just not seeing that. And the proof is in the pudding with this team. I mean, in theory, when they made all these moves, I guess the analytics would tell you that, yes, the team would be productive in theory, prior to the start of the season. And again, availability is better than no availability. And, a lot of the moves they made ended up with injury prone men or just guys not playing in their conventional roles. And every day is a mixed match. Every day is a question mark. And it shows. It shows in the product. But you ought to know
You
that.
know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what and I'm gonna put a nice bow on it, right?
Yeah.
You know what the highlight of the Mets season is?
I don't know.
Jose Iglesias is about to make his debut on Broadway.
With the Buena
That's the highlight
Vista
of our season.
Social Club. Catch him out on Broadway. Yes. I just found out about that yesterday, too. I'm interested. I've been wanting to see that. I would love to go see him be a part of it. I'm interested to know his role, though. Like, is he singing OMG? Like, that's not... I hope not. Please don't do that. Like, I love the Buena Vista Social Club. I have the CDs and all that from back in the day. I actually listen to him. I have Cuban roots, so that's my thing. But it's kind of funny to hear that. The true highlight of the Mets season is Juan Soto and the young kids in the outfield. Benj and Ewing and all that. Like, you've seen bright spots with these young boys, and Juan Soto. I mean, outside the little time that he missed, I mean, he's having arguably an MVP type caliber year. He's been, again, probably not going to win it, but he's played well enough, especially under the circumstances, to be in that conversation. I mean, he's truly a top tier talent. I feel like he's gelled a little bit more with Lindor this year, but we're still seeing a very small sample of that, because when Soto's hurt, Lindor's hurt, Soto's in, so they haven't even really been around each other as much as you'd like to there, but you hear all the reports about them not getting along, and now there's, you're seeing them in the dugout interact more than usual. I don't know, there's a lot of speculation on that. But I think one thing's for sure, Soto's fell in love with the young kids out there. And that's nice to see. That's cool. And he speaks highly of them. And, it's something to build off of. But again, this is what you did, man. I think with Lindor, when it comes down to it, they screwed up his psyche by bringing in Soto. The two personalities clearly did not gel as well as, the only comparison we can really have is Judge and Soto and how they seem to have gelled in the clubhouse. And I think their personalities are more in line, than Lindor. And then, the rumors of the politics aside, and Lindor's wife's involvement with, what everybody says, the Mr. Communist Mandani and all that, even though he's not, but whatever. Democratic socialist at best. But this is what goes on, and these things matter, and, it has a full effect on a team. And, when you gut their core for analytics, sometimes this is the risk that you run. And here we are. And they fired the wrong guy. Mendoza shouldn't have been fired, in my opinion. I like Mendoza. I think he was good. He wasn't the issue. It really should have been Stearns. It's not going to be. It doesn't seem like, Cohen's, has any plans to get rid of him, which is a bit scary for me, honestly. I give him one more year, man. I really, truthfully, I mean, I if it was my decision, I'd probably fire him in the offseason at this point. But, I give him one more year. I don't even know where you go from here. They didn't do anything to really, outside of signing Peralta, which.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna stop you right there, because I've been way more excited about the throw-in player that came in with Peralta than I've been about Peralta. Christian, I think Scott, is it?
Yeah, Christian Scott, man.
I'm thoroughly impressed by him.
No, I love Christian Scott. I was waiting for him to come back from injury, and I knew he had potential. He's great. Performed well the other night as well. I think he's got a bright future. Yeah, him and Noah for sure. But at this point, Peralta's most likely gone. They're probably going to trade him here in this deadline.
Can't wait. You get something for him.
It would bode well to do so. That's what I'm saying. At this point, I'll give Stearns one more year, but it starts now. You have to make the necessary moves now and dump it, because there's virtually no hope in a playoff push at this point.
And we got to move on from Alvarez, Beatty, and Vientos. It's over.
I still wouldn't mind keeping Alvarez around. I think, even if he's not the full timer, having him in a platoon situation, I still, would like that. He, at the very least, I think he could be a really good, like backup platoon catch. Every now and then he gives you a game, man. He makes an impact every now and then. And I think he calls a better game than most people give him credit for. I know he hasn't quite lived up to the potential, but I would agree with you with Beatty, and Vientos. Senga, has to go. Some of these guys, Minaya. I don't think, Manaya's healthy. Like, it's just obvious. He's never been the same. It's time to move on from him. These are the guys that they got to move on for. I think some of their big arms you might have to consider moving in the bullpen. Might have to consider moving. Brazoban, get some good value out of it. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
you know, Holmes, Weaver. You know, if you can, sure, let's do it. You know, I don't know where else you go at this point, and you got to get value somewhere. And hope you have a hell of an off season. I don't know. Off the top, I don't know who's up for free agency, but the Mets have the money to spend, right? So that's not the issue. It's just a matter
Well, I
of
mean,
how
let's
to
not.
construct this team. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like after this season. How long the work stoppage is going to be.
Oh well, I mean, with that, I know I always tend to speak about it as if that's not looming as well. So you're right. You're absolutely right. That is most likely on the table. At least all the pundits say it is. So you're right. That might change the landscape of baseball as we know it, and at least
Yep.
for a little while. I'm trying not to think of that until it is official. Because I mean, as a GM, you can't bank on that, right? Like you have to act as if that's not happening. You really think teams are operating under the assumption that that is going to happen, and then they're dictating their movement because of it?
I'm
Like
gonna say. I'm gonna say this. Uh, you don't have a chance of winning this year.
hmm
I think whatever happens in this next collective bargaining agreement is going to change the way baseball does business,
mm
and you can't help but be aware of that. And if you're not, you're behind the eight ball.
All right. I mean, I can. It's hard to argue that, no doubt. I just, maybe when it comes to impending like free agents, things like that, I think it might slightly sway your position on certain moves. But all in all, I think you have to, try and lock down some talent for the future. Like it would bode well for teams now to, maybe extend some contracts and really lock in the guys if they there is potential of them moving. Like, I don't know if at this point in the season you probably can't do that. I think you have to wait till either later in the season or post playoffs in order to extend contracts at this point. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check on that. I don't know if it's teams are necessarily eligible to do so at the moment. But that is something, that again, you bring up a great point. That is, may be persuading certain teams from making certain moves.
Yeah.
For the Mets, I don't think they should be operating under that assumption. Or now's the time to ship a lot of these guys, especially if they're the contracts are up next year. Like, get rid of them now.
I want Clay going.
Yeah, sure. I mean, listen, the experiment it worked in theory. Like they, transitioning him to a starting pitcher really did work. To their credit, but the team wasn't good enough around him, and to rely on him to be one of our better pitchers, and that wasn't necessarily supposed to be the case. We're looking at him like a 5 or a 4 guy. Where's Tong? Where's those guys? Manaya's of the world, the Petersons, obviously getting rid of Peterson. These other names that we were relying on being, pivotal parts of this rotation, and to have Holmes be, your 2 guy at times, essentially 2 or 3 guy. That I don't think that was supposed to be the equation. And again, none of these guys, along with Peralta, go deep into games. McLean's the only one. Like nobody goes past 5. Like you go 5 innings, it's a hassle every night to get there. Senga 3, 4 innings. How many times have we seen that? It's just gonna derail a team. And as good as the Mets bullpen is, it didn't matter because they're just being depleted day after day after day with these long drawn out games, or these situations because none of the starters could go long,
Yeah.
And it's sad. Like it sucked. And along with the offensive woes, I mean, there's not much to write home about with this team. I thought they'd be better offensively. It hasn't quite worked out.
Yeah, they fooled us.
They did for sure. I guess I was banking on guys being healthy and available, and you're seeing them get healthy now a little bit, and you're seeing signs, but it's not enough. It doesn't seem. What about Bichette? Ship out Bichette at this point too. Get some value
If
with
somebody
him.
wants him. If
Yeah,
somebody wants
I
him.
think some. I think there's still value in Bichette, man. I do.
If somebody wants him, they could take him.
The craziest part about that too is, man, is when you look at Toronto and what Vlad Guerrero's doing, man. Like, nobody's seen that shit coming. And then Bichette having an off year as well. Like, that's insane. Like the downfall of Vlad this year has been one that you got to study him, along with who else? Tatis, and who else?
Tatis is starting to hit the ball.
Starting to hit the ball right a little bit more. Who else am I thinking about? There's another. Freaking what's his name? Kyle Riley. Yeah, just the fall off from him over there. It's been a true era of pitching, man. I don't know. I don't understand the whole Kyle Riley thing. It makes me think he was doing steroids or something. I don't. To be honest with you, yeah, no, like that, bro. That big of a drop off. That's insane to me. You go from greatest hitting catching seasons of all time, and one of the greatest catching seasons of all time. Offensively, defensively, and this is what you get. I'm not trying to accuse him that the guy's doing steroids, but like it makes me think like something is up there. Like, how do you go from that to that? The Vlad one is a little more believable, I guess, bro. But
maybe
that's
the pressure to try to perform like that again.
He looks like he forgot how to play baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's just in that bad of a way. Vlad too at times, but like at least like it's more believable, I guess, because it wasn't that outstanding of a year compared to like Cal, but
yeah.
Like it just I don't know. And listen, it's certainly this season has been the year of the pitcher. You've seen guys like Mazeroski, perform, and they're just electric, ability. Dangerous out here, right? Like, I see Mazeroski strike out Soto the other day, just 104, 104, 103, like, damn, like, that's insane, bro. Like,
that's
crazy. Like, you giving Soto no chance up there, like, that just says everything right there. Milwaukee, watch out, man. I don't know. Could it be around they're always that type of team, too. I just feel like something's going to go wrong, too, with them. But sharing that best record, with LA and fighting for that for sure. It's going to be an interesting finish to the year for these two teams.
Milwaukee looks amazing till you put them next to the Dodgers, and you're like, oh, okay, there's a difference.
Right, and you don't really know what you're looking at with the Dodgers until you get into a playoff series with them, because that's when they really become the Dodgers.
I do have something I want to celebrate Stearns on.
Okay.
Luckily, we lost what's the name to the Dodgers, and he has done nothing for the Dodgers.
Oh, Diaz?
Not Diaz.
Kyle Tucker.
Yes.
Kyle Tucker. Yeah.
Nothing to celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed. I think he's as of late a little bit more production, but yeah, all in all, you're absolutely right. I mean, that was one that we kind of lucked out on. But you know what? Don't give credit to Stearns. That wasn't his. We just lost the sweepstakes on that. So don't even. He tried. He tried. We just lost. That's all. That's all that was, by the way. Because not for nothing, it was the right move on Tucker's part. He could have chosen either Mets or the Dodgers, much like the Diaz. Had a damn choice there. If he really wanted to come back to the Mets, he'd have been a Met. Worked out for Diaz. But did it really work out with the Mets with Tucker? Because it's like, he's still been available. You know, like I don't haven't
Hey,
seen
you
his
don't have
numbers
that.
recently,
I mean,
but
it's been a bad season, but it's not the albatross that would have been with. Oh my God,
you
no.
know, would you rather see him out there in the field, or would you rather see Beatty? I don't know. You know, like which one? I'd probably go with Tucker, to be honest with you, bro. You know, like
Oh, God.
so like it's questionable. You know, they just lost the sweepstakes. That's all that means, man. They really did. Um, and then I'm sure Diaz too. Diaz is coming back, right, for the playoffs. Like where's he
I,
at?
I, I,
I don't even know his timetable. I'm assuming he'll be
but
ready to go.
as much as I loved him when he was on the Mets, and as much as I don't care for him, not on the Mets.
What do you mean not on the Mets?
Like not being on the Mets, I could care less about
With
him.
him? I mean, it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could care less.
Yeah.
But when he's coming back, when he's not coming back, like the way we stood by him after he got hurt at the World Baseball Classic, and then for him to just get up and leave like that, I'm good.
And it's not like Williams has been like a major disappointment. I think
No, he hasn't.
it's been like as advertised. He's shown glimpses of, dominance, and then, he's let you down at times. It's whatever. He hasn't make or break the, season in that sense. It's the other, blemishes up and down this roster that has really reared its ugly head. That's the team that they constructed that I was so keen on at the beginning of the season. Down there in spring training in Port St. Lucie, with a good old dub down there. We were very optimistic about these Mets.
Who knew they'd be out of it by April?
Yeah, if you told me that then, a part of me wouldn't have been surprised because I'm used to it. But I would have argued that it wasn't gonna. I would have bet against you. But I'd be wrong. I'd have lost that bet. Here we are. It's not even a question. What we are, the 25th of July. And,
43-61.
43-61. It's not even close. Yeah, it's not even close. Never was. Yeah, and then you see what the Phillies have been able to do. I mean, they look like they're primed for potential championship run. Although they piss me off at times too. They get sloppy and all that. But that lineup is just dangerous all around. And you got Zach Wheeler there, and that pitching staff. You got to feel good about it at times. So who knows, man? I don't know.
Another former Met.
That was probably the worst one of them all, Gino, is letting Zach go, honestly, in retrospect. Outside of all of them, outside of all those core, pitchers that we have.
You remember, we didn't want to pay him.
No, I know.
Turned around and gave, what's the name of the money? What's my man who didn't want to play during COVID?
It wasn't.
He came from the Blue Jays.
Stroman?
Stroman, yes.
It was Stroman?
We didn't pay Wheeler, but we gave Stroman the money.
Yeah. I remember that. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Look how that turned out. Wheeler was definitely one of the biggest letdowns. Looking back with the Mets, that hurt us a lot. And see what he's done. And again, they're making one hell of a push this year. Mattingly has pushed all the right buttons and found a way to give that team and that city, a bit of resurgence. And now, with LeBron in the mix in Philly, it is a Philadelphia fall. It is going to be wild in Philadelphia. You got LeBron coming there. You got, you even got Philadelphia football, if they still believe, I don't know how, probably not the favorite in the town right now, and or the hockey team. But, yeah, could be one hell of a fall for Philadelphia baseball and basketball, that's for sure, after today. So, Crazy times, man. All right, Gino. We are
Alright, man.
we are out. Past midnight is officially Saturday. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been one hell of a show. Always a good time when Gino stops by. I had to hit him up and say, hey, man, we talking LeBron, we talking basketball, we have to. Knicks in 5, right, everybody? Knicks in 5. All right, Gino, any last comments before we get out of here, my friend?
OMG.
Oh my. Check out Jose Iglesias at the Buena Vista Social Club soon. Coming to a theater near you. Actually, I forget. There's only one specific theater somewhere. I don't know where he's at, but check him out. I'm sure you can find it online. All right, everybody, stay tuned for updates for the show and for updates going forward about the fundraising event. Hoops for a Cause. That's what we're calling it. Taking place out in Cunningham Park, August 29th, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Gonna have tons of games, surprises, and even more updates on that, as Gino himself revealed tonight that he's willing to donate some clothing material, and we will give that away as prizes at the event as well. Can't wait. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have all that information, ways for you to sign up and get involved. And if you're not able to make the event, also ways to also get involved and help donate for a greater cause. Student athletes, building a better future going forward. All right, for all of us, indeed. All right, it's your boy Matty B, Epis Radio Entertainment. This concludes episode 83 of the Epis Sports Podcast. Please join me going forward. Follow, subscribe, keep those notifications on. And until next time, everybody, keep showing up.
Wake up! Is every number where it was? Has this dream stopped?
Here we go.
Epis Radio. Epis Radio.
Matty B.
Big Willie, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate you for stopping by. We will talk about that charity poker game, bro. And if you can make the fundraising event, let me know. We'd love to see you. It's gonna be, you gotta play some basketball. Come on, come through. We'll have a 3-point contest or something. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night. It's your boy Matty B, Epis Radio Entertainment. Keep showing up. LeBron James. Knicks in 5.